In the town of Konya, in central Turkey, in the middle of the 13th century, a prominent religious scholar named Celaleddin Rumi was suddenly separated from his teacher and spiritual friend. In his grief, he took hold of a column and began turning. Verses of poetry began pouring out of him. Remarkable poetry. His students wrote the words down. 700 years later, Rumi's poetry is being discovered in the West. He is, in fact, the best-selling poet in America. Come to the orchard in spring. There is light and wine and sweethearts in the pomegranate flowers. If you do not come, these do not matter. If you do come, these do not matter.
The great Muslim Sufi, Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi, was born on September 30th, 1207 in Balkh. His father, Bahauddin Valad, was one of the most knowledgeable men of his time. He was a very famous scholar and man of religion. He was known throughout the Islamic world as the Sultan of the religious scholars, or the Master Scholar. When the Mongol threat was spreading, wave upon wave, from east to west, leaving behind pillage and terror, and reaching the Balkh borders, the Sultan of Scholars decided to leave. In 1220, with a small caravan comprised of his family and students, he began a long journey that would last 8 years. The caravan's first stop was Nishapur. Later, leaving Nishapur, they first went to Baghdad, and then to Mecca by means of the Kufa road. Making Hajj, they continued to Medina, Jerusalem, and Damascus, before reaching the borders of Anatolia. The journey was endless. They traveled to Aleppo, Malatya, Erzincan, Sivas, Kayseri, and Niğde, before arriving in Karaman. When they left Karaman in 1228 and arrived in Konya, the great Seljuk capital and one of the most important centers of science and art and thought in the Middle Ages, they left behind a very long journey of 8 years. This long journey by his father's side was a perfect time of training for Mevlana Celaleddin. In addition to the basic sciences that he was taught by the Sultan of Scholars, Mevlana also received different, enriching and valuable thoughts and ideas from many famous scientists and thinkers whom he met throughout the years in various countries. These were to become the foundation of the essential components of Rumi's teaching, tolerance and love for mankind. In this sea there is no death for us. In this sea no grief or sorrow. This sea consists of boundless love. This sea is comprised of goodness and generosity.
Rumi's father became the head of a Sufi learning community. The Sufis are an ancient spiritual order, and according to many Sufis, the essential truths of Sufism exist in all religions.
The Sufis are a remarkable band in the history of religions. They are the mystics of Islam. And as the mystics of Islam, the Sufis, we can connect with because they're talking about these wonderful, sublime truths which have a way of piercing directly into the human heart wherever it is.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد واختلف الملوان وتاكم الأسرار وكرم جليلا واستقبل الفرقة وبلغ روحه وأرواح أهل بيته من التحية والسلام وبارك وسلم عليه كثيرا 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 وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين.
شمس تبریزی کی دارد نعت پیغامبر مصطفی